What's up, Squally? Okay, so I want to continue on from the last tape about the engines that I have pulled up here. And today's verdicts are the prism, liquid metal, metal, crystalline, chromium, and yeah, that would be it. So, as per the diagrams show how it works. So red is oscillator 1, blue is oscillator 2. Now, see what happens is, I know that this is a single oscillator, but they spin. That's what I mean by the gyration. If you don't know what that word means, it spins around. It goes from phase to phase. Alright? That's how it works. And some of this stuff is like, it's written out like a cartoon. That's why it becomes images. That's why when I get into sigils and I get into seals and crests and stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then I'll show you what the 2D thing does and all that. Alright, but right now we're going to get back over here to box. They set this crappy ass camera up. Okay. Now you can combine all this. This is what I'm saying. At no cost of processing. You could run prism in a liquid metal, or prism in the metal, or metal in the liquid metal, or crystalline in metal, or chromium in the prism, and yata shata. It doesn't matter. Here's sigil in the light, and whatever, man. I'm gonna come up with some new stuff. I'm always breaking down some new stuff. Wait till I get in the meta materials. I had to slow my roll on those because I found out there's a whole bunch of different ways of making them, and when I break that down, you guys will see. Yeah, I showed you on one tape the telly. You have to use that with the 50X. But we'll get into that later. So let's listen to this liquid metal sign going into the shape prism, the triangle. Okay? Check it. Change it to the wild prism and then let the liquid metal go into the light. Now, if I turn it to liquid metal, see, okay, now let me further break this down. Now, as I told you before, on the software, if you make a single cycle waveform, you can get an image or a portrait. But the machine will register it as 8, no matter what. Because in the single cycle, that's what it transfers to, into the 8 foot. Now, we know in the Blofeld that a single cycle wave, if you turn a sine to a single cycle, is 32 feet. So technically, in software, it's 32 foot. It transfers to 8. If you are an 8, then that equals 32. If you turn to 16 foot, then that means it will equal 64, 128, 256, 512, so on. And that's per 16, 32, 64, 128. If you can't follow this math, I'm talking to the people trolling me. I'm not talking to subscribers. Obviously, the people that are subscribed can follow this stuff. They obviously can follow my mumbo jumbo. Okay, yeah, they can follow it. Alright, so okay, this is how this works. You use different engine, right? The red could be prism for instance, and the blue could be liquid metal. So you don't always have to run them exactly in phase like the actual engine. Like you could run chrome into the light and shine it up, or vice versa. Stick the chrome into the light hole where the light comes from, or you control the light and shine it onto the chrome, or you use the liquid metal to be vibrated by the crystal, like what we'll do now. So we got a vibrating crystal, 32 harmonic, right? And you stick it in the liquid metal on a triangle tip. Check it. Crystal random vibration. You see, that's heavy. So what happens is you're zooming in as you change the footages to these single cycles. You are zooming in on the image, okay? Because that's how it will work for a grain, a bacteria grain. I've already showed you that. We'll get into that's what I'm saying. The grain, we'll have a whole video section for that, and the mosaic and this random shit. Because the pulse width knob and that controls on random grain the scatter or cluster amount, how dense it is. Pulse width on this would just sweep through whatever brick or bacteria is harmonizing to the noise or whatnot. Because everything moves and vibrates. The crystals do, even though they're still on the table. You know? This thing's vibrating, man. These are vibrating. These crystals, yeah, I know. They're giving off the vibration. You know, this is infrasonic stuff. This is subsonic stuff. Alright? Sound is an element. They don't discuss it. We're here to discuss it and more. And display. Wait till I get to the oscilloscope and I'll show you how sine makes a zero. Okay? The circle. I'm not doing this shit with you guys. I already seen it. Somebody already did it. So it doesn't matter, but I'm going to show you systematically, fundamentally, how sound behaves. Alright? That's what we're going to do. Now, let's get, hold up. Let's switch it up. Let's stick the crystal into the light hole. That's a random. See that? See how loud the Blofeld is even on 16? That's also what these plugins do. They give your Blofeld, they like up the crystal clear amplitude, the power, the weight behind the sound that comes out of the sound generators. You know what I mean? Like it's just heavy. You don't seem to get it. You know, the people that want to argue and ridicule and bicker about this shit. You don't seem to see it. I mean, it's plain to see. You gotta be blind as a bat to miss it. Let's turn to Chrome. And we're using the anomaly, the ohm going through the silent oscillator plug-in. The shape. You killed a ring mod behind X. We summed it up. It's still bulky. Turn this bitch up to 64. I see shit clipping. I see shit clipping. You know what I'm saying? At 64. So this you add massive amounts of weight to the box. You're adding power to it, and then you're also giving your box the ability to run different types of engines and combine them at no cost to poly. The only time you start eating up poly is when you get in a multi mode. And I displayed that with the hyper oscillator engine before. You guys are well aware of that. That vinyl, that 32. You know what it is. Plus and a minus to your sinus, man. Get with the program. Let me show you. Take the metal. Take a pickaxe to the crystal. See that? And you can reverse that. Put the crystal into the metal. That's the little point I'm trying to make. And then when you turn the re-rock back on, you can see it's like the ring mod is the patch cable between O1 and O2's volume. So it's like you control them simultaneous with the volume as you turn the ring mod up. And then what happens is you got the ring mod going through with the ohm to provoke filter 2, and then it reflects back into itself, which is oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. Then plus you have the FM that's going on, which would be the patch cable that plugs in everything, because filter 2 FM is oscillator 1, and oscillator is plugged into oscillator 2 via FM, the patch cable. That's the crystal going into the liquid metal. Stick crystal and chrome. See what's popping. Cone filters appropriate. Get some nice ensemble type of stuff, strings and things like that. And then you can kill the guys who need that crazy type of noise, you can do stuff like this. You see that? Oh, alright, thank you. Thank you. Alright, so yeah, man, rest in peace, trolls. I'll melt your brain. I'll melt you like helter skelter. I already told you that, man. Best take shelter. I'll welt you. Humbly, I'll do it too. Alright, so I don't know if I should keep really elaborating on this type of stuff with these engines. I probably shouldn't, but what I'm saying is you can combine them. They all have their different properties. They all operate the same way, polar opposites, 0 and 127. Once you set the LFO to the mod wheel, it would be going to the positive on oscillator 1 and on the negative on oscillator 2, pulse width amount would be cranked on both of those. LFO would be the source of the pulse width modulation, and that is how you operate that. It's very simple. It's very, 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 very easy. It sounds more complex than what you would want to think, but in actuality it's very easy. Let me break down phase again. Okay, when you operate with phase, there are the single cycle, the 2, the 4, and the 8. You change the cycles with the pulse width knob. You can also change the footage, which also changes how long or short the oscillator actually is in reality, which makes you it allows you to get 512 foot oscillators when you can only get 128. This is called stretching it out. This is called bang for the buck. This is called blockbuster, budget box, badass. MPC live users, all the crazy noises that I'm making here on these tapes, you can rest assured that the sample packs will contain them and more. This box can do physical modeling. There are 3 key elements to physically modeled acoustic sound. I told you that's RM, FM, and noise. I told you that. These are the 3 key elements. They say this box doesn't have enough processing power in Gatamashata. I beg to differ. All noise has color. These are the 3 key elements to busting down physical modeling. I do it with ease. All sound has colors, like I said. This is how we do it. Kind of like that old Montel Jordan song, man. I'll catch you on the flip squad. One more time. For those who don't know, liquid metal, metal, chrome, chromium, whatever. Prism shaped, prism wild, 32X harmonic crystal, 50X harmonic crystal. Nothing's the same. I'm not arguing. I'm not doing this shit. I'm standing on volumes, baby.